And you can feel it through, the audio and the video on the broadcast. So let's put a pin in the All-Star race real quick, because the Hall of Fame news is the most recent thing in NASCAR. Hall of Fame class of 26 coming out last night. We got Kurt Busch, really the headliner. You got Harry Gant, Ray Hendrick, the modified driver, getting in on the Pioneer era ballot. Humpy Wheeler, landmark award winner. Do you have any Humpy Wheeler stories for us? I've never gotten a chance to meet Humpy, but he's a legend. If you go to Charlotte Motor Speedway, you're going to hear Humpy stories.
I'll almost give my version of like almost everyone's Humpy story, because a lot of it is the same. Number one, that man can tell stories, and he lived all of them. When you look at the history of our sport, Humpy lived it. And we talk about him as the title of the president and general manager of Charlotte Motor Speedway, but he was so much more to so many people. Humpy was the person that when a young driver was coming up, he would counsel or advise that driver. When a young reporter was coming into NASCAR, he would say, hey, look, if you're going to cover the sport, this is really what you need to look at and what you need to focus on and things like that. You look at our drivers today, from Kyle Busch to Joey Logano and, literally people who are champions of our sport. A lot of them came up driving Legends cars. That was Humpy's idea. That was his design. So Humpy made everyone better, and I think that's the best thing. And my personal experience with him, he was the guy that, you look at Humpy before you meet him for the first time, and you think, here's this larger-than-life person. And he is, don't get me wrong. Here's this larger-than-life person that's walking up to me and greeting me by name. Here's this larger-than-life person that the conversation we're having, you feel like it's the most important thing at the moment, and that, to me, is Humpy.
All class, and now in the class of 2026 for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. All right, we got to talk about Kurt Busch. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's won some of the crown jewel races. He's won 34 Cup Series races as well. Longevity and excellence over time is what stands out to me. When you think about Kurt Busch's career and journey, as it was, what stands out to you?
Performance. Kurt, it's funny because Kurt was really the beginning of the era of young drivers. I mean, Jeff Gordon is really that person. But Kurt came in and almost had like no street cred, no skins on the wall, no anything. Yesterday he was talking at the Hall of Fame. He's like, 1999, I'm driving a Legends car around the bull ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. A year later, I'm qualifying 10th in a Cup race, beating people like Dale Earnhardt and so on. So Kurt comes in as this goofy-looking kid with an attitude that I think people looked at and were like, come on, man, who are you? Really? You're going to come in here like he was West Coast when this sport wasn't West Coast. But then he proved it out on the racetrack. Goes out there and wins 5 races at Bristol, wins the Daytona 500 late in his career, wins a championship early in his career. I mean, he did everything pretty much that there is to do in the sport, and then some.
Unlike Humpy Wheeler, I have gotten the chance to meet Kurt Busch, and I'm coming in from the outside, but I've watched racing over the years, and I've seen some of the on-track stuff and the battles and the disputes, and I'm like, that's not the guy I just met. What do you know about Kurt, just the human being and the individual?
So it's Kurt, on and off the track, I mean, not going to sugarcoat it. He was a guy with, a lot of angst, a lot of attitude, a very short temper in a lot of ways. And on the track, you saw the short temper. You also saw it off the track as well. And when I think of Kurt Busch, you have to think of all of those things. When I think of Kurt Busch in the Hall of Fame, I think about what he did on the racetrack and the things that he accomplished, because he went up there against the best of the best, people who had been doing this, since he was probably 8 years old, and went out there and was beating them on the racetrack. But it was that same fire that we saw with his temper at times that also fueled him. And he wasn't afraid to yell at anybody, whether it was his crew chief, a reporter, or someone else. But he also was a person that when you sit down face to face with him is extremely engaging, extremely nice. When he's away from the field of play, when the chin strap is loosened from the helmet, if you will, great guy.